Let us renew our commitment and our covenant. There are those among us who have endured losses during the last year. May their hope be uplifted again in this community of faith. May they find renewed strength. There are those among us who have wrestled with questions that seem to have no answer this year. May they find sanctuary in the community of faith. There are those among us who have cherished unexpected joys in the last year. May their gladness be celebrated. As we commit to continue our free and responsible search for truth, may we covenant to honor the many paths that have led us to this community. In times of darkness, we stumble toward the tiny flame. In times of cold, we seek the warming fire. In times of repression, we reach for the lamp of truth. In times of loss, we pray for the comforting light. In times of joy, we light a candle of celebration. Spirit of life, as we kindle this light, help us find what we need this day. Let us now recite together our congregational covenant. Love is the spirit of our congregation, and service is our aim. To dwell together in peace and freedom, to seek the truth, and to help one another. These are our goals. Now is the time for sharing joys and concerns. Today, we don't have any specific new joys and concerns, but I will say a prayer followed by a moment of silence for all the joys and concerns that are unspoken and remain in our hearts. We offer this prayer. We pause this hour to remember those whom we have lost, those whom we fear losing, those from whom we are separated, those to whom we would extend a helping hand, a caring heart, the will to live. We pause this hour also to hope for life and good living, for love and kind words, for reconciliation, for the support of family and friends, for meaning in our struggle, for wholeness. May our memories and hope renew us for the days and nights to come. May it be so. As we begin the process of saying farewell to 2020, we'll listen to Felix Fernandez as he plays Ashokan Farewell by Jay Unger. Thank you, Felix. For our service this morning, instead of a sermon, we'll be looking backward at the year that is ending and forward at the year to come. What memories of 2020 and what hopes for 2021 will you carry with you into the new year? If you want to share them with the congregation, please unmute and raise your hand, and the Zoom host will spotlight you. You may share a memory or a hope or both, but please speak briefly so that everyone has a chance to share. And please wait until you can see yourself on the screen to begin speaking. I will begin. I will remember my friend Robert Blenheim, a former member of this congregation and the leader of my poetry group, who died of COVID-19 on October 19th, 2020. And I will hope that our country will come together in the next year, and that we will beat the pandemic and come out of it stronger. Okay, there's Barbara.
I remember the best Christmas I ever had was I was volunteering in the hospital in Chapel Hill to teach children and high school kids so they could keep up with their studies and graduate. One was so sad because everybody knew that she wasn't going to graduate. You know, she had maybe 3 months to live, but she didn't know, and she was picking out colleges and all that. So that was a real sad thing. But at the same time, something happened that was overwhelmingly joyful, and that was my daughter was born. So that was the most memorable to me, and she's the best. Thank you.
Yay.
Christmas baby.
If you just want to raise your hand, or you can remember that if your video is off, I can't see you, but you can raise an electronic hand by going to the 3 dots on your picture, and it will have reactions there, and you can. Okay, Ludi. Unmute.
Hi, I wondered if, and Steve just asked me if this was supposed to be a Christmas memory from 2020 or from years past. And I thought, well, it's okay. We can go in whatever direction we wish. And this one, I'm thinking a year ago, Christmas, I hadn't been bowling in years because I thought my carpal tunnel was just too hard, and I'd had slip discs in my lower back, and I wouldn't be able to do it again. But what did Steve give me for Christmas? He gave me a bowling ball and my own bag for carrying it around. And so for all of this past year, we have not only been bowling, but we've both enjoyed being on a bowling league, and we wear our masks and we wipe down our table. So there are other things I could say, but that's just one thing that's memorable because that's been a real joy for me, that I thought I couldn't do it, and I found out I can. And it's great to be able to share that with Steve. Now, of course, for hopes for the coming year, I do hope that we're going to have stronger leadership that will lead us to more cooperation with each other nationwide and internationally. And I hope that Steve and I will have a little more time because we've both had some very big projects that have been consuming. It's like working 2 full-time jobs sometimes. So that's my personal hope for the coming year. Thank you.
Carolyn.
Oh, thank you.
one of the joys of this year, when there have been so many sorrows, is that it forced me to stay home. And then I began to look around my yard and really enjoy being close to the birds and the even the armadillos and the possums and the raccoons are all very active. There were some fawns that were born this spring, and a mother brought them right up near my window so I could see them, because my yard is not fenced, and it has a lot of trees and bushes for animals to hide in and also to eat. So that's been one joy that has emerged from being homebound so much here. And of course, I have all the hope for the vaccine for the new year, and that we can banish this pandemic. Thank you.
Russell Gray, you want to unmute?
Just did. I wasn't sure I was going to join this part, but I just came up with something I was thinking of, and maybe commit me to this in the new year. I was this close to adopting a dog in the spring, but didn't do it because of COVID and because of my own depression problems. But I hope to in the new year, I'll get a dog. That's going to be my goal for the year, among others, of course. That's going to be a top one. Thank you.
Julie?
I need to say that it's small things that make my day, and they're not really so small, but they might seem that way to others. In looking at the church and what people need to do their job, we asked around, and one thing that Dan Kerr said that he'd really like nice cabinets to put the music in, because they've been in these really low cabinets, they're hard to find or whatever. So, bless Cliff, he found for $15 each these really big, beautiful file cabinets. Two of them are in the office and two of them were for Dan. And so Dan spent like 3 hours transferring all his music to the cabinets. And then I happened to be there last Sunday, or anyway, the other day, that maybe it was Saturday, and he was practicing. And he was so thankful that Cliff had found them and installed them, and that we're able to make that happen. And that just made me feel so good. It's a small thing, but I think joys throughout the year, not just at Christmas time, these small things, when you see people really smiling and happy and like a relief that now I can actually find what I want, that made me feel really good. And I hope we can have more and more of those moments over the next year. That's it.
I'm looking for hands. Oh, here we go. Patricia Snyder. Hi, good morning. You're unmuted.
Thank you. My joy was for the holiday season this year, and although my spouse and I stayed home and didn't travel or go anyplace, we had FaceTime with grandchildren, and on Christmas Day from my daughter and her family, and on yesterday from my son with his children. So we had a lovely time talking to the children, and they didn't open the presents that we sent until we were on FaceTime so we could see them open them. And it was really very lovely and enjoyable, more so than I even anticipated. So that was a wonderful thing. So my hope for next year is that even better, that we'll be able to be in person with the grandchildren again. One of them asked about that, if that was going to happen next year. And I told him I thought it would.
Dan Kerr.
Good morning, everyone. I think I need to, in looking back at 2020 and looking forward to 2021, I need to acknowledge a group of people that have been my therapy in the last year, especially in dealing with the situation with my brother and the situation with my daughter and with the pandemic and tending to Roe and dealing with the isolation and the sheltering and everything. I need to thank the group of people that have provided to me the opportunity to work in making these music recordings. The quartet, which now has become a quintet, which if Felix and I can work it out, is going to become an octet. And in particular, of course, Janet Strumpus. Everything that I have asked Janet to do in doing these recordings, she has done. And I wish to acknowledge the musical talents of Bruce and Barbara Reed and Jan Taylor and Susan Garrison. And I look forward to 2021 because Mary Ellen Ottman will be joining us. And it looks like eventually that Tom Starvis and John Horner will be making us an octet rather than a quintet. And that gives us some even more opportunities to bring even more challenging and beautiful music. So I look forward to that very much, not only because of their talent and because of what we bring to the service, but also because it provides to me a great deal of psychological therapy. So I am very grateful. Thank you.
Marge?
Well, anyway, I was going to say it was looking at the reality of all of the things that have happened in the past year, you would say, I can't believe how terrible it's been. But I'm very grateful for Zoom, which I would never have been able to figure out, and have been able to keep in touch with people and enjoy their company, even though I can't be with them. And I had another lovely little great-granddaughter born in October. And so that I'm looking forward to the vaccine getting all of us safe to travel, because I want to go up and see her and her big sister, who's only a year and a half old. So they have like twins. And I'm expecting a grandson in the end of January. So, you have to balance the good with the bad. And I'm far more optimistic now than I was 6 months ago. So happy 2021. Has to be better. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in again. I know I should wait in line again, but I didn't realize it was our wish for future Christmases or for next year. And my most ardent hope is that Joffrey can get a pardon so he can live with his mother, so he can live with who he wants to live with, so he can get the job he wants. If he could only get a pardon, it would be life-changing. He was arrested when he was 15. He served almost 20 years in prison. And he is such a good person. I can't understand why he's not damaged at all, and why he always is so positive. And I hope that he gets back to the church too, because he feels like the congregation is his support of normalcy. So that is my wish for the future, that he gets a pardon. And if we all work together, maybe that will happen. And I thank Mary Lou for doing so much for that cause. I thank Joan Tate for doing so much, and those that really believe in him, that have worked so hard to get Ron DeSantis to give him a pardon. It would mean so much. It would be life-changing for him. And it's not that he could get to vote, because even though some people get to vote, he will never get to vote, and that's not the big thing. He just wants a life and to be a better citizen, to be a citizen. He's not even a citizen. I don't even know why they took the rights away from him, but anyway, thank you. That is my hope and dream and my passion, that he gets a pardon. Thank you.
Steve?
Yeah, I just want to a couple of very short-term memories of two experiments that went on during this period in 2020. The data is pretty much in. The conclusions won't be complete probably until another 6 or 8 months from now. But one was on the national level. You know that our country was formed 250 years ago as an experiment, and it's been tested, Civil War, World Wars, and it's been tested sorely this last year, and it's been a difficult, you know, terribly difficult. But I think we're going to come out of it okay. We're gonna survive it. I'm very optimistic about 2021. And the other experiment was on a global level. All right, now here we have a virus that is more than willing to kill every living human being on the planet. Okay, so, and it was us against them, and so there's certain levels of cooperation in the science. Chinese, they worked in working out some of the DNA of these organisms, and they'd come up with their own, you know, antibodies and stuff like that for it, and vaccines. And we cooperating with other countries have done the same thing. So I'm again very optimistic about that experiment. That it's going to come out really well. And 2021 is going to be it's going to be a great year. Maybe the second half of 2021. Thank you. Since I'm probably still on the screen.
Yes, you are.
Okay. 2020 was the year of a Corona courtship with my buddy here, my pal, my lover. Okay, it's been a great year. We've been forced to be together, and it couldn't have worked out better. Okay, really had a great time, and we're looking to a great future.
Yes. 2021.
We'll be and Steve.
All right. Memories of 2021 and hope.
Robert Palmer.
Okay, thanks.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
There you go.
You didn't miss much. I just was listening to everybody, and I just share all their concerns and the joys that they've had. And I was thinking of my Christmas. Here I am, an old guy. I'm 97, trying to avoid getting caught with this virus. So I've got to be very careful. And I don't go to the dentist, I go to the doctor, but I try to be good. And my son Mark does shopping. I really don't like the food he buys, but hey, it's food. But this Christmas, I had a wonderful time. I have about 11 grandchildren, and many of them have kids. So I've got a whole pile of great grandchildren. And when they get to be my age, they like to say, he's a great grandpa, you know. And so it's sort of fun. But I do have a couple of granddaughters and grandsons that sort of stand out. I just love them. I mean, it's wonderful. And I love my kids too, of course, but I'm just saying that I think you have a different relationship with the younger people, with kids, than you do with adults. And I just enjoyed being contacted by everybody and having FaceTime and Zoom and all that stuff with the family. And I'm sure that other people here have enjoyed the same thing. And but I want to let you know that I really enjoy being a participant in our community. And I also I have a few things that bug me, but I don't know what to do. I know I could write another book, but I had so much trouble writing the first book. If you dissent in this country, you're supposed to be free speech for the democracy, but when you try to expose things that are not right, you find that the government is actually against you. You really have a problem, so you just have to put up with it. I I woke up one day in Yokota Air Force Base, and I said to the doctor, "What am I doing here?" He said, "You were confused in flight, and they dropped you off." Oh, so I go home, and I sent to a psychiatrist, and I find I have diabetes mellitus and reactive hypoglycemia, and I got all kinds of mental problems. And he takes my license away, he writes to the FAA, and writes that I'm disabled. And I go to the Social Security, and they say, "Have you any disability insurance?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, I've been paying on this thing for 30 years on the National Service Life Insurance that I got when in the Navy, 30 years before." And they said, "Well, you have to go there first, $50 a month." And so they sent me to a VA psychiatrist in Palo Alto. And he said, "We don't need a consult. I have your papers. Yeah, I'll rule on your papers." And he walked out the door. And he said I was not disabled. And that was very bad because here I am finishing up my doctorate and I can't get a job. So I got into real estate. And one thing goes to another. You just keep going and just keep plodding on. And I did run for Congress, but they were going to kill me. And I figured I don't think I want to. My wife got really upset. She said, "After they shoot you, what's going to happen to me? You have to shut up." And okay, all right. So I didn't say anything more. And then they shot at Dexter Jacobson, an attorney. You should really read about him. And the deputy attorney general at the time, and I didn't realize this, he was in charge of the day-to-day operations of the Department of Justice, and it was Bill Barr. And he said that this fellow, Dexter Jacobson, was a random killing. And after they carjacked him, put him in a culvert. He wasn't discovered until 5 or 6 days later. And they went through his car, his house, his office, and all evidence against the corruption in the bankruptcy courts was removed.
Bob, I need to cut you off because we want to let everybody participate today.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's a fascinating tale, but
okay.
we can only give you a couple of minutes today.
I love you all. I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Happy New Year. We love you too.
Larry? Larry, yeah, there you go.
Okay, I think I got it unmuted. I just want to say, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to everybody. And when the topic came up, I started thinking of a quote from A Course in Miracles, which is not unusual for me. But the quote is to make this year different by making it all the same. And to me, that is to love God, love your neighbor as yourself. And I guarantee you, we all love our neighbors exactly as we love ourselves. We're all beautiful mirrors of one another, shining, and I'm just so happy to be alive, to have survived this illness, and to actually have been born alive, and to have this time to share with all of you. So I love you all as family, and I wish you a happy New Year. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Sarah Angel.
Thank you all. And I too want to thank you all for allowing me to be part of this group. And I've listened to many of you and have grown and learned and gained wisdom. So it's been a blessing to be going through COVID with you as opposed to without you. So I'm totally, totally grateful. And I have tremendous hope because the age of Aquarius has begun officially December 21st. And we're going into a new age. And this is incredibly exciting for me. I honestly think I'll be happier and fit in better in the new age of Aquarius because I think people will be allowed to be more independent individuals and less forced to be forced to be part of the traditional or a more acceptable view, where either you are accepting that point of view or you are out. And I think there'll be more space for free thinkers. Not that they're going to allow revolution, but I think naturally it will happen because of the forces that are upon us. And COVID is going to take care of your population, overpopulation problems, unfortunately or fortunately. So we're not going to have that one for too much longer. But we are going to have to now, instead, like you were saying, petroleum, Rockefeller, it was all about serving the industry, the industrialists. And now it's going to be more about how we can serve the community and serve. And you think that you seem to think there's a line between oil and solar, but the solar and the battery all come from the rare earth minerals. They're all being mined in China and elsewhere around the world. So we'll still be taking from the earth, but it will be for the higher good. It won't be to destroy the earth. It will be for the higher good. And I think this is tremendous hope, tremendous life and peace after the war, of course, but peace will come. So I thank you all. And I pray for us all. Psalm 91, be safe. God bless us all. Amen.
Joel Fears.
I'd like to say I'm thankful for being alive, and I thank everybody for surviving from this point in 2020, and my hopes for 2021 that is my concern for our core freedoms, the freedom that was acknowledged in the Nuremberg Code of 1947 and enshrined in International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which states that no one shall be subjected without his free consent to medical or scientific experimentation. And my concern, and I believe people, a lot of people are aware that this emergency vaccine that's being rolled out is experimental. We don't know the long-term effects, and there've been side effects of it, and harmful side effects. And so that's my hope, that we have a choice whether we want to take the vaccine or not, and that there are other there is science to show that there are other ways of treatment for this COVID, SARS-CoV-2, for people who believe that there is a virus that exists, and that they showed that they discovered that virus that's harming other people, and there's also science that says that they haven't isolated the virus. There's proof that that the virus exists and it's harm people. So that's that's what I'm hoping for in 2021. Thank you.
Harry White.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be alive. I guess that's a great thing that I've carried into 2020, and I have plans of carrying it into 2021 and hopefully out through 2031 or somewhere around there. Life is good. Life has been difficult this past year, but it has been good to me. I've had lots of encouragement and positive feedback, and I really appreciate that because I'm going through a pretty good struggle. But everybody's going through their own struggles, and I hope that you all can maintain a positive attitude going forward. The future, I believe, is going to be a lot brighter than the present with the new vaccine. It's been a rough cruise or bumpy road or whatever you want to call it. But we're making it, and can't ask for much more than to have loving family, loving, caring friends, a positive attitude, and beliefs in hope going forward. My mom once told me that, laughter is the best medicine, and I try to follow through on that through emails of loving videos of animals and what have you, and with some jokes and funny stories. I try to bring cheer through that media, and I just sent an email out to all of you asking if you want to be included on, an email list that will display some hopefully funny, joyful, happy videos and some funny jokes. So I want to send that out as a gift for you to enjoy. If you prefer not to get the email, just respond to me and say, I don't need any more email. I fully understand that. I have 4 accounts and I can go a little bit crazy with email. So Happy New Year to you all. I hope 2021 is a happier, healthier time for all of us and for our wonderful country. God
Thank
bless
you,
America.
Harry.
Harry White. Bye-bye.
Did I see Joanne's hand? Whoops, no.
I was just waving. Harry.
Kay, Boyer Ryan.
I wanted to mention a long time friendship. And this, I think, at this time of year with the exchange of Christmas cards. It allows people who live in countries such as Germany to stay in touch with people who are in the United States, such as I am. And my first husband worked for DuPont, and that is when I met the Hummages. And we were able in a later time to go around the world and stopped and stayed with this couple for at least 2 nights. And that's my current husband, Mike Ryan. So they were people who I befriended because of one person in my family, and then that's come down to the second relationship that I'm part of, and they're the friendship that allows us to enjoy people who are outside of the United States and keep in touch with them that way. So it's delightful to see the world as a place for friendship. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Anybody else have memories or wishes for the new year?
Linda Kalajan?
Yes.
I'll tell a little sweet story. My mom, my wonderful, sweet, wonderful, loving mother, when I was about 5 years old, everyone else had fled the home, was out of the house. So she went to work in the infants department of Arnold Constable. And she loved creating the layettes for the babies and pinching their cheeks and that kind of thing. But there was a doll that she wanted to get for me because I was only like 4 or 5 years old. And it was a tall, about 3.5-foot doll that could walk. And at the time, that was a real novelty. But it was pretty expensive. So she got her coworkers all in on this scheme to keep making the doll's face dirty so nobody would buy it, because on Christmas Eve, it would be half price. And she succeeded in doing that and surprised me Christmas morning with this doll that was just about as tall as I was. So that's my story. Merry Christmas, and I hope this year makes a sea change.
Right. So, is there anybody else who wants to speak? Okay,
I'll say something.
Yes.
I just want to say that I appreciate all of your patience and your support during this time when we were totally experimenting and on a steep learning curve with this Zoom stuff. And I guess as much as we might have a tense relationship with the Chinese, we should be thankful to them for this Zoom at least. So I just want to say I can't wait to be back in the sanctuary with you all when it's safe to do so, and that I hope that your new year is happy and healthy. And thank you so much for having me as your minister.
Thank you, Reverend Kathy. And thank you all. We've bid a heartfelt farewell to 2020. And now we're ready to welcome in the new year. And we'll start that process by listening to, I'm sorry, my voice is going, our own UUCOB choir sing You Are Welcome Here by Marty Parks. Choir, take it away. And now, please join me in repeating the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. The words for our benediction come from Bernadette R. Burns. For the joyful, may jubilant songs echo in our hearts, well beyond fading memories. For the sorrowful, may gentle songs of solace bring lasting healing to our hearts and minds. For the angry, may we join our voices together in songs of protest and hope. For the mindful, may we sing the praises of earth's beauty and honor the unique songs of all beings. For all of us here in our community, in our world, may we sing to the morning and evening stars as they guide our journey. Go in peace. Our postlude, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky, arranged by Larry Shackley, performed by Janet Strumpus, and recorded by Felix Fernandez.